public importance is under Order 8, Rule 4, and is titled Urgent Need to Address the Crippling Epileptic Power Supply in Nigeria.
The power supply in Nigeria, it is...
On this very important motion.
Those in favor that this is urgent enough to take down, please say aye.
The House notes that electricity is a crucial enabler for industrial development, social welfare, and improved health care. Hence, it is the backbone of development in any country. Also notes that Nigeria has 23 power generating plants connected to the national grid and managed by generating companies, GENCOs, independent power providers, and the Niger Delta Holding Company. Further notes that the country is endowed with large oil, gas, hydro, and solar resources and has the potential to generate 12,522 megawatts of electric power from the existing plants. Concerned that despite being so largely endowed, on most days it is only able to dispatch around 4,000 megawatts, which is insufficient for a country of over 195 million people. Also concerned that for some weeks, many parts of the country, including major cities like Abuja, has been experiencing unstable power supply, just as the relevant agencies resorted to brainstorming on why the situation persists. Further concerned that the frequent collapse of the power grid and load shedding has become a matter of national embarrassment, and the increase in electricity tariff has not brought about any improvement in power supply across the country. Worried that the epileptic power supply in Nigeria has retarded the country's development and caused untold hardship for the people due to the consequent collapse of business and low productivity. Also worried that the lack of adequate supply has not only hurt businesses but has caused huge economic losses for the country as a whole. Cognizant that economic development cannot be achieved without adequate power supply, which is a major determinant in job and wealth creation. Also cognizant that to achieve constant power supply, the federal government needs to take a cue from other countries and seek other means of generating power, such as coal-fired power plants, wind and solar, among others. It resolves to urge the federal government to upgrade power transmission and distribution infrastructures and seek the best alternative sources of energy to ensure steady supply across the country. Mandate the Committee on Power to ensure compliance. I so move.
Distinguished honorable members, Honorable Rep. Ibrahim Ayokunle Isiaka, I represent the very good people of Fund. The motion as ably moved by our leader, Honorable Mokono. I so second. Thank you very much, sir.
The Chief Whip.
Honorable members, I remain Mohammed Tahir Monguno. I represent Marche Monguno, Nganze Federal Constituency of Borno State. Mr. Speaker, honorable members, electricity, power is key to the socio-economic development of any country. In view of the multiplier effects that it generates when it is adequately supplied. Lack of adequate power supply retards our industrial growth and thereby also retarding our economic growth. It brings about job losses because when industries do not operate up to maximum capacity, there is no way they are going to retain their workforce. Retrenchment will set in, and with all the attendant effect of insecurity and what have you. So for the singular fact that no economic development, no country attains cruising altitude in socio-economic development there is need for us to upgrade our power supply, make it adequate by diversifying our power sources to solar, coal, and other sources, so that there will be adequate power supply in the country with a view to bringing about the much needed socio-economic development. I think with this contribution, I urge my colleagues to support the second reading of this bill. Thank you.
Names of the committees which needs to be done today. So if I can get a couple of names before the announcement.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Honorable
Leader is aware. I've been on his case for a while, but he's very busy right now.
Toby Okechukwu is my name. I represent an area of Gojiriba Federal Constituency from Enugu State. Can I have? Come. So, Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues, the motion on the need to address the crippling epileptic power supply in Nigeria is quite good. The prayer says, urge the federal government to upgrade power transmission and distribution infrastructures, seek the best alternative sources of energy to ensure steady power supply across the country, mandate the Committee on Power to ensure compliance. Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues, this responsibility is already squarely on the platform of the federal government. We don't need to remind them to do their job again. But this Parliament and the National Assembly, in the constitutional review that we have done, has also been upbeat regarding amending that section of the Constitution that makes it possible for the states to exercise some level of function regarding to electricity. So my own thinking is that if those bills have been forwarded, they should expeditiously be attended by the states as well as signed by Mr. President, so that in reality, the exercise of these functions, whether it's solar or whether it is transmission, will actually be devolved to competent hands, instead of leaving it to a behemoth that is not able to do his job. Thank you very much.
Your amendment. Who's seconded? The amendment, please say aye. Those against, please say nay. Ayes have it. Those in favor of the motion as amended, please say aye. Those against, please say nay. Ayes have it. Before we move on, I have an announcement from the Minority Leader, Honorable Lumelu's State, and former Speaker, Right Honorable Aminu Waziri Tambuwal, and former Governor of Anambra State, Peter Obi, will be seeing the PDP House of Reps caucus today from 9 p.m. at 50 Lobito Crescent, we'll say 2, signed Minority Leader. Are they pairing up to run?
Mr. Speaker,
Minority Leader. Because I to go up in flames.
PDP.
Politics without bitterness.
It's politics without bitterness. Just like
I think the next motion is a motion.
The security issues or attacks in the communities of Benue Northeast area of Kwande local government. I ask that we suspend our rules for me to take this motion. Honorable members, I so move.
Please.
Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues, my name is Tio Robert Anna. I speak for the people of Kwande and Ushongo. Mr. Speaker, I rise to do a motion on the urgent need to provide military and police presence in the current northeast area of Benue State to curb continuous herdsmen attacks. The House notes that in the past 4 days, there has been continuous and persistent night attacks on the communities of Mbav, Ichembe, Bachong, Bagibe, Nzav, Kendev, Churu, and Ugbe. Leaving 7 persons dead. This has also left over 1,000 persons displaced into the communities of Jatoka and adjoining villages. This attack, Mr. Speaker, colleagues, is about the 4th attack within the past 2 years. This has persistently left these people distraught, with the people of Mo, for the past 6 years, being unable to go back to their farms and homes. The House resolved that the House mandates the Committee of Security Agencies to increase the military and police presence to provide a more permanent security solution for these areas. That such should include the building of a police station on land that has been provided by the Anwasi Committee to curb further attacks in these areas. The House also mandates the committee, the agency responsible for National Emergency Management, NEMA, and the Ministry of Humanitarian Services to provide urgent relief to these over 1,000 displaced persons. The House also mandates the committees on police, army, NEMA, and humanitarian services to ensure implementation of 1 and 2 above, and return back to the House within 3 weeks for further legislative action. So, Speaker, honourable colleagues, I so move.
Seconder. All right. Those against, please say nay. Ayes have it. Just as a reminder, the meeting with the service chiefs continues today in room 301 with the leadership, the service chiefs and the leadership. Please, leadership, please. The meeting will continue at 2 p.m. in room 301. And all members of leadership are expected to be there. There's a meeting with the service chiefs. Bills. Honourable members, the first business of the day is presentation of 11 bills, and I invite the clerk to read the short titles.
Speaker, honourable members, National Senior Secondary Education Commission Establishment Bill 2022, first reading. Federal University of Health Sciences, Otuko, Benue State Establishment Bill 2022, first reading. National Institute for Oil Palm Research, Imiabiam, Imo State Establishment Bill 2022, first reading. National Institute for Entrepreneurship and Innovation Studies, Oweri, Imo State Establishment Bill 2022, first reading. Mandatory inclusion of teaching of breast and cervical cancers into secondary schools curriculum in Nigeria Bill 2022, first reading. Multinational Companies Appointment of Chief Executives Regulatory Bill 2022, first reading. Nigerian Oil and Gas Industry Content Development Act Amendment Bill 2022, first reading. National Polytechnics Commission Establishment Bill 2022, first reading. Chartered Institute of Corporate and Business Management Affairs Establishment Bill 2022, first reading. Same-Sex Marriage Prohibition Act Amendment Bill 2022, first reading. Chartered Institute of Digital Technology and Development of Nigeria.
Hello, Honorable Chidoka, Honorable Halims.
Chartered Institute of Digital Technology and Development of Nigeria Establishment Bill 2022, first reading.
Honorable Linda.
Honorable colleagues, I drawn to my attention, there's also a letter of appreciation here to the House of Representatives from Ashwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu. It says, Dear Right Honorable Speaker, letter of appreciation. 30 years after having the honor of being elected into this august institution, I returned to the National Assembly on Wednesday, March 16th. Meeting the House leadership and the rest of our party's caucus in the House of Representatives was a pleasure I shall always treasure. The meeting was indeed a homecoming for me, bringing back heartfelt memories. I appreciate House of Representatives Speaker, Right Honorable Femi Gbadabiamila, and the entire honorable members of the House of Representatives APC caucus for this opportunity and for the friendly welcome accorded me. Like I said during our discussion, the National Assembly is a vital arm of government. This 9th House of Representatives has recorded significant progress, advancing democratic good governance and moving our nation forward. We are proud of you and commend your patriotic effort as individuals as well as a collective legislative body. My brothers and sisters, on March 16th, I addressed you briefly about our national journey and how I see my role in it. I shall continue to seek counsel and support in this regard. I thank you for listening to me. I thank you for your positive response. After speaking with you, my resolve to serve this country has been strengthened. Together, there is much we can achieve. Once again, thank you for the opportunity to meet with you all. I look forward to continuing this vital dialogue. Please rest assured of my highest regard. Sincerely yours, Ashwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu. The second business of the day is presentation of 2 reports of the Committee on Steel, standing in the name of Honorable Abdullah Ibrahim Halims.
Ibrahim Halims is my name. I am from Kogi State, one of the most peaceful states. Report of the Committee on Steel on a bill for an act to establish National Metallurgical Training Institute, Sagamu, Ogun, and personnel in iron and steel and oil and gas industries for national development and fund. That the House do receive the report of the Committee on Steel on a bill for an act to reconstitute the metallurgical.
Your Excellency, Mr. Speaker, distinguished, I rise, Your Excellency, to second that the report presented by Honorable Halims.
Those in support, please say aye. Those against, say nay. Ayes have it. Honorable Halims, standing in the name of Honorable Jerry Alagboso. Honorable Alagboso is invited to present the reports.
Thank you, the Right Honorable Speaker and colleagues. My name is Jerry.
Just to bring to your attention, Mr. Speaker, that even amongst people who use this kind of cap, we have factions.
I was wondering why your style of, okay, because both of you have the same.
Somebody will have a cap like mine, and as leader of this very hallowed chamber, rising to speak on your orders, and the guy wanted to stop me by a point of order, that may at the end even be baseless. Please,
But you cannot preempt it. Maybe you were doing something wrong. That's why I was asking him. But he says it has nothing to do with your.
Mr. Speaker, I would like, by your leave, to please direct Naraba to approach me in the office after sitting.
After sitting?
Yes.
Please approach the leader after sitting.
If he wants to continue as a member of the APC, you have to see me.
Yes. But when you are going, don't go alone.
Right Honorable Femi Bajabiamila, the Sadoki of Yauri, the Speaker of the Nigerian House of Nigerian People, I want to first of all congratulate you. Happy Ramadan, that we are 3-4 days into Ramadan, and may Allah give us the strength to discharge this holy ibadat in the period of Ramadan, and extend it to all members of the House of Representatives, and by extension members of the Senate as well, and Nigerians at large. Mr. Speaker, I rise upon your instructions to move number 5 packaging. A bill for an act to establish federal polytechnic.
I think Honorable Nalaraba really destabilized you.
It's because I also was responsible for a little bit of...
If you cannot read it, just go by just mention the item.
Mr. Speaker, to move that a bill for an act to make comprehensive provisions for seizure, confiscation.
That's the wrong...
Is to move that a bill for an act to establish Federal Polytechnic, Tombia, for the training of graduates in... The next bill, Mr. Speaker, is a bill for an act to repeal the Federal Colleges of Education Act, Cap F8 Laws of the Federation of Nigeria, 2004, and enact the Federal College of Education Bill and for related matters HB 1455 be read the third time. Mr. Speaker, honorable members, a bill for an act to amend the Orthopedic Hospitals Management Board Act, CAP 010, Laws of the Federation of Nigeria 2004, to establish the Orthopedic Hospital Dekina, Kogi State, and for related matters, HB 1463, be read the third time. Mr. Speaker, I so concurrently move that these three bills be taken the third time. Thank you.
Okay.
Colleagues, Abubakar Hassan Nalaraba is my name. I represent the good people of Awedo Makiana Federal Constituency. I'm from Nasarawa State. I rise under personal explanation, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, my highly respected colleagues, on the 3rd of April, that was the first on Sunday, Mr. Speaker graciously honored my constituency with his presence to commission a road network facilitated by me, a 3-kilometer road. So I rise to express my special appreciation to Mr. Speaker on behalf of my constituency, Awedo Makiana, to appreciate your presence despite your tight schedules, despite your foreign engagement, official foreign engagement. You cut short your engagement and be with us in person and in spirit. We appreciate you and we thank you. And also to inform this noble house that Mr. Speaker has been conferred with a chieftaincy title from His Royal Highness, the Andoma of Doma, the Dang Amana of Doma, meaning the trustworthy of Doma. This is a privilege and award for the first time given to someone outside the domain of the Andoma. It is in this line that I rise to appreciate and inform our colleagues to help me in appreciating Mr. Speaker for this kind gesture. Despite his tight schedule, he made himself available. I'm so grateful and I appreciate your presence. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. And congrats.
Can you now understand why he was trying to stop you? Do you still want him to see you after sitting? Because now you are talking to the Dan Amana of Doma.
Mr. Speaker,
yes. And what you are doing, may Almighty Allah continue to give you the strength to even do more for your constituents. Well done, and congratulations actually goes to you, not to me. So we'll move on. The fourth order of the day is commencement of debate on the general principles of a bill for an act to make comprehensive provisions for seizure, confiscation, forfeiture, and management of properties derived from unlawful activities and for related matters, standing in the name of the House Leader. Honourable members will recall that the bill was read the first time on Tuesday, 24th November 2020, and now I invite the Leader to move that the bill be read a second time.
To also, in my personal capacity and as leader of this important house, also congratulate you on your appointment and your appointment as Angamana of Doma. Mr. Speaker, may I also, on behalf of the Doma people, explain a little further what perhaps Right Honorable Nalaraba might have forgotten. Mr. Speaker, Doma is one very historic community, an ancient settlement of warriors in the Middle Belt. Mr. Speaker, Doma is also very special because it's like a unity settlement. You have Christians, you have Muslims living in peace among themselves from time immemorial. But what he has forgotten to let this house know and also let you know that in his constituency, there are two twin communities. There is what they call Doma and there is Awe. These are two inseparable communities. There is even a Hausa adage which says that the two communities are like eye and the nose. You cannot separate them. Whatever affects the eye will definitely affect the nose. So I only want to tell you in advance that for you to have a balanced title in Doma, you will have to make a trip back to his constituency to also pick another title in Away, because you just cannot fly with one wing. It's like House of Reps and the Senate. In Babangida time, when Babangida was the president, when he created the new Nasarawa state, he left one of the two local governments in Plateau and the other in Nasarawa, that they said, no, it cannot happen. Babangida had to reverse it. Taken to Kogi, sorry. He was in Benue or Kogi. What I'm trying to say that when Babangida created new Nasarawa state, he separated these two local governments, one in Nasarawa, one in another state. These people got themselves united and fought against it, that they can never be separated. This is Doma and Away. It's like they are twin chambers, twin communities. So I would like to say, Mr. Speaker, that you have to get ready and make a trip back again to pick the Away title to make it a balanced one. Mr. Speaker, this is my observations, and I'm doing this because I'm a traditional ruler in the North. I know of this tradition. If I have anything wrong in my presentations, I challenge the member representing these two communities to prove me wrong or right.
Is it possible to take the title by proxy?
Yes, sir. It's
so you can take it from my mouth.
I will go and pick it for you, because we must make it a balanced title. It has to be balanced. And when you go back, tell the chief emir of Away that Mr. Speaker will come back in representation of the leader of the House to pick the second title to make him a balanced son of Doma and Away. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
You know, you are a man of multiples.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Mr. Speaker, honorable members, Adodogwa remains my name. Mr. Speaker, I represent the good people of Dogwa Tudunwada Federal Constituency. Mr. Speaker, I am from the Reno Emirate of the present Kano State. I'm not from the cosmopolitan location of Kano, from the traditional Reno Emirate, sir. I hope you are getting me. Mr. Speaker, I am from the rural ancient area of Kano, of Dogwa Tudunwada, under the proud Reno Emirate, not from the cosmopolitan city of Kano. And I'm proud to be one coming from that area, Mr. Speaker. This is for the record, sir. I rise as directed by you, Mr. Speaker, to move that a bill for an act to make comprehensive provisions of seizure, confiscation, forfeiture, and management of properties derived from unlawful activities and for related matters, HB 1101, be taken the second time. Mr. Speaker, this is a second bill, and I therefore move that this bill be read the second time for concurrence, Mr. Speaker. Thank you.
Thank you.
Sorry.
I believe they are the ones that
yes, sir.
Confiscate and
no,
seize.
I was mistaken, the second one.
And I'm wondering why the EFCC Act is just clerk. Long title.
Right, Honorable Speaker, it is derived from unlawful activities and for related matters. Second reading.
The day is commencement of debate on the general principles of a bill for an act to provide for establishment of the Federal University of Environment. Other members will recall that the bill was transmitted from the Senate, seeking concurrence of the House, and read.
Mr. Speaker, representing the good people of Tudunwada, Dogwa Federal Constituency, honorable members, I come from the same state with Comrade Goro, Kano State. Mr. Speaker,
is he also from the ancient part or the cosmopolitan?
He is from the get-together area.
Get-together area?
Yes, gathering. That's even the name of the place. Fage means gathering, just gather around.
So you see that we have very serious problems in Nigeria. So within a state, Kano, you guys are also discriminating against each other. What part this one is from, what part that one is from?
It's natural, sir. It's natural.
It's natural?
Mankind are created differently and in different locations. He happened to be in Fage, a place that is called Fage means
Comrade,
gathering.
they say you are from get-together area. What does that mean?
We will discuss that with him.
Huh?
He's from Fage. Sir, the place, Mr. Speaker, the place is called Fage, which means gathering, and it's outside the confined walls of Kano City.
But you are from the real ancient city?
Yes,
you are,
them.
okay.
We have them. And he knows what I am.
All right, go ahead. I just wanted to seek clarification.
No, he's getting out of his camp. He's indicting the camp he belongs.
Go ahead, leader.
Mr. Speaker, honorable members, Honorable Sada, I'm grateful for the glasses you have given me to use for today, but unfortunately, my eye is heavier than your own. Mr. Speaker, this is a bill for an act to provide for establishment of Federal University of Environmental Technology, Koroma, Sakpewa, Tai Ogoni, and for related matters, HB 1925, a Senate bill, be read the second time, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, honorable members, I so respectfully move.
Honorable Rotimi, you want to speak against the bill?
Honorable Rotimi Agusoye, representing Koshope Federal Constituency of Lagos. I rise to support the bill, but at the same time, to let the House understand that we've been having too many establishment bills. And, this will attract spending from the executive. But I am not against the bill, Mr. Speaker.
Okay, so you're supporting it. Can you tell us where Koroma Saikpenwa is? Where is that?
Mr. Speaker, dear colleagues, that is Ogoni land. Ogoni land. Thank you, sir.
The source of Nigerian oil, please.
Stage in the life of this assembly. Can we know, I need you to do a compilation of committees, either standing or ad hoc, that have failed up till now to submit their reports. Those committees will be discharged on Thursday. All committees, ad hoc, standing, whose reports are outstanding and have not been done and have been in existence for months, the House will need a list which will be read out here on Thursday, and their work will be discharged. Do you have that?
Submit their reports after nearly 1 year.
After a year?
After more than 1 year. And we have outstanding over 170 referrals that are yet to be reported out by standing committees. The list will be ready for you tomorrow, sir.
The list will be ready tomorrow?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Please, I don't want to hear of technical reasons. The committee has failed after months and a year to submit its report. Those committees will be discharged on Thursday, and we'll either decide to either reconstitute another committee and you hand over whatever little report you have to the new committee, or we'll figure out a way to go about it. But we cannot continue like this as a House. We cannot. Somebody has a point about that. Honorable Halims, what's your point about that?
On the issue of discharging this ad hoc committees. Because
so your point of order is personal explanation, or what?
It's personal explanation.
Okay.
Some of these committees have financial challenges, and as a result of non-release of funds, definitely the committee will not perform. And secondly, sir,
the first reason was the result of what?
Challenge of funds.
Funds, okay. Second?
The second one is technical reasons. Like I'm heading one subcommittee that the court is almost stopping us from operation. And to be, as a law-abiding citizen, as a parliamentarian, the issue has to be resolved before we...
What issue? Sorry, I didn't hear you.
The second one is, court is almost stopping us from finalizing our report.
The court is stopping you from?
Rounding up our report. We are in the process.
The court?
Yes. There's a court matter over stopping us from carrying out our further investigation on the matter.
Let me have any committee that has a court injunction, attach it to your report. Let me have it.
Okay, sir.
Yes.
Thank you, sir.
On the issue of funds, I believe that cannot be an excuse. If the work is that important, some of this work will only take a few weeks. There's not much fund that is required, not much. Okay. So that will not be an excuse, anybody that's talking about funds. But on the issue of court injunction, let me have it, and we'll know what to do at the point. Yes, Comrade, I know your problem.
Yeah,
You've said it here over and over again.
No, I don't have problem with that at all. I'm not going to make reference to that. As a matter of fact, I am supporting this preposition that all committees, whether standing or ad hoc, should be discharged. But I have two prayers. Number one, it should not be stated here that the committees are discharged either for incompetency or ineptitude. I will object to this, sir, with due respect. Secondly, sir, the other alternative you want to take might not be the solution, because you said they will be discharged and you will give it to another committee to go and do. We'll just be moving one step forward and 3 steps backward, because the same reason that prevented the committees from doing might also affect the new committees you are going to affect. So I will support that every committee, whether standing or ad hoc, should be discharged and let it be treated here at the committee of the whole. I saw some experience.
Okay. Whether another committee will be reconstituted, it will depend on the reason why the other committee has not been able to do its work, so that we don't run into the same problem, in which case we'll bring it to the committee of the whole. But if, for whatever reason, a committee has not been able to discharge its responsibility, but we know that a smaller committee can do that, then we have to consider that smaller committee. Simply reason being, every resolution is important. Some are actually very critical. And if we say we will not constitute a new committee, then the subject matter, and the reason why we set up those committees will have, the subject matter would have been frustrated. But yeah, I get your point, and if need be, we'll consider everything right here in the committee of the whole.
From Plateau State. Mr. Speaker, this is a good idea, but I think we have to be fair to some committees too. Where you have referral to a standing committee in December, or even an ad hoc committee in December, and declare a recess, and equally issue an instruction that no committee should conduct any business in that December, and today that committee is going to be viewed as an incompetent committee. I don't think that is fair to the committee. So in as much as we are taking decisions on those things, we should equally be fair to some technical reason, administrative reasons, that is attributed to lack of discharging of those responsibilities by some committee. And secondly, Mr. Speaker, I will use myself as an example, with due respect, sir, to everyone here. I have 3 referrals in my committee. I wrote, a committee cannot function. The referrals were in December, and there was recess in December, and there was an instruction no committee should conduct any business. We came back January, and I wrote to the leadership. Committee can only discharge its function when it is funded. In that kind of situation too, Mr. Speaker, those committees need to be considered so that we will not portray ourselves here as people that are not willing to discharge responsibility given to them. Thank you, sir.
Well, thank you. If a committee was constituted in December, I believe the leadership is right to say we're all going home for Christmas. You don't want a situation where committees are working during Christmas, and some members of committee are out of the country, some are in their villages, and then sometimes you don't even form a quorum in the committee, and so we don't want a situation. But December was December. This House resumed in January, and we're now in April. So most of this work, when we do our resolutions, either 4 weeks, 6 weeks, is what we give. From January to April is almost about 3 months. So I don't think the December holiday should be an excuse. Now, if December is an excuse, then when will be the right time to submit a report? June, July, 6 months? It doesn't work like that. But we'll take everything into consideration, but I think we might end up just doing a whole sweep and consider everything here. Otherwise, everybody will have one reason or the other. I can see many hands up, and there will be many reasons. So we'll just move on, because everybody will have a reason. It has to be at this point, because we've announced this. This is not my first time announcing this on this chair. At this point, it has to be zero tolerance. If your committee has not done its work, nobody's going to blame you. Forget blame, funding, whatever it is, we discharge you. We bring it to the committee of whole. There will be no need for funding in the committee of whole.
Please, honorable members should be guided.
Yes, be guided. Or rather, the sixth order of the day, which is commencement of debate, or the long title for 5, yes. If it's okay. We put the question, right? We already put the question. So you read the long title then. Now, because the leadership is yet to determine when we're going on break. And that's why one of the reasons why we have to take this decision now as to discharging responsibilities. The reason being, this is an unusual year. We've never had primaries at a time like this. But because of the new electoral law, the timetable is such that primaries will have to hold in May at some point. April, May for many parties. And therefore, a lot of members are not going to be here. Everybody's going to be out campaigning. It's as of necessity. So our period here, sitting here until June, is very short. There's Ramadan, there's primaries, there's Easter. So if we're not careful, this work will go unfinished up until February when we do general elections. So we have a crash course right now, a crash program in the next few weeks. I don't know how long we're going to suspend plenary for everybody to go and talk to their and get ready for their primaries, apart from the Ramadan, which we normally go on break. So those are the reasons that have informed this. The sixth order of the day is commencement of debate on the general principles of a bill for an act to repeal the Nigerian Institute of Transport Technology Act, N116, Laws of the Federation of Nigeria, 2004, and enact the Nigerian Institute of Transport Technology Bill to provide for full-time and part-time courses of instruction and training for the general development of transport and logistics sector of the Nigerian economy for junior, middle, senior cadre managers, technicians, technologists, artisans, and for related matters, standing in the name of Honorable Abbas Tajuddin. Members will recall that the bill was read the first time on Tuesday, 22nd of March, 2022, and I invite Honorable Tajuddin to move that the bill be read a second time.
Mr. Speaker, my honorable colleagues, my name is Honorable Tajuddin Abbas. I represent Zaire Federal Constituency. I'm from Kaduna State. I rise to present a bill for an act to repeal the Nigerian Institute of Transport Technology Act, Cap 1 N116, Laws of the Federation of Nigeria 2004, and enact the Nigerian Institute of Transport Technology Bill to provide for full-time and part-time courses of instructions and training for the general development of transport and logistics sectors of the Nigerian economy for junior, middle, senior cadre managers, technicians, technologists, artisans, and for related matters. Mr. Speaker, I so submit.
Okay, this is a Kaduna Mafia affair. Honorable Shehu Balarabe, this second.
Thank you, Your Excellency, Mr. Speaker. Shehu Balarabe is my name. I represent Benue Giwa Federal Constituency. Mr. Speaker, I'm from Kaduna State. Mr. Speaker, I rise to scorn the bill heavily moved by my elder brother, Dr. Abbas Tajuddin, the Nzazo, I also second, Mr. Speaker. Thank you.
Those against this say nay. Ayes have it. Clerk, long title.
Right Honorable Speaker, honorable members, a bill for an act to repeal the Nigerian Institute of Transport Technology Act, CAP, N116, Laws of the Federation of Nigeria 2004, and enact the Nigerian Institute of Transport Technology Bill to provide for full-time and part-time courses of instruction and training for the general development of transport and logistics sector of the Nigerian economy for junior, middle, senior cadre, managers, technicians, technologists, artisans, and for related matters. Second reading.
This bill is referred to the Committee on Land Transport. The Federal College of Education Technical, equal to Co, Akwa Ibom State, and for related matters, standing in the name of Honorable Eniaka Umana. Honorable members will recall that the bill was read the first time on Thursday, 20th of February 2021, and I invite Honorable Umana to move that the bill be read a second time.
I rise to move that a bill for an act to establish a Federal College of Education Technical, Ikoruko, Ika, Local Government Area, Akwa Ibom State, and for related matters, HB 715, be read the second time. Mr. Speaker, I so move.
Princess Miriam. Honorable Gideon, please approach the chair.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
And for related matters, second reading.
Bill is referred to the Committee on Tertiary Education and Science.
Engineer Solomon Maren is my name, FNSC, and I represent the good people of Mangu Bokos Federal Constituency. Mr. Speaker, I come from the home of peace and tourism, Plateau State. Mr. Speaker, I rise to move that the bill for
Honorable Nasiru Zangondora, disbanded your caucus.
I rise to move that the bill for an act to amend the Financial Reporting Council of Nigeria Act 2011 and for related matters HB 1817 for second reading. I so move, Mr. Speaker. Thank you. Engineer Solomon Maren is my name, and I represent the people of Mangu Bokos Federal Constituency. I am from Plateau State. Right Honorable Speaker, my dear colleagues, I thank you for the opportunity given to me to take the second reading of this all-important bill. Mr. Speaker, recall that the Financial Reporting Council of Nigeria Act 2011 was an initiative of the Parliament aimed at guaranteeing and safeguarding investments and inculcating financial discipline in every sector of the economy, as it is the practice globally. Your Excellency, my dear colleagues, the bill is an excellent piece of legislation setting up the Financial Reporting Council of Nigeria. However, the bill lacks the biting teeth to enforce the provisions thereof, hence the need for this amendment. This amendment, Mr. Speaker, my dear colleagues, is a product of the committee's oversight of the Council. Obstacles to its proper functioning were identified, and the proposed solutions put forth in this amendment, and the passage of some recent legislations like the Finance Act, which hitherto were not envisaged by the Act, has also affected the proper functioning of the Act. Hence, the need to update the Financial Reporting Council of Nigeria Act to articulate all those in this present amendment. The bill seeks to amend sections 2, 8, 11, 15, 20, 33, 41, 42, 51, 53, 59, 61, 63, 64, 65, 68, 72, 73, and 77 sections. Mr. Speaker, these amendments give detailed timelines and prescribe penalties through regulations to keep up with the emerging trends. My dear colleagues, you are also aware that the Financial Regulating Council is a self-funding organ of government, and so it does not come through appropriation. Hence, the need to give it the necessary powers to operate and regulate the sector properly so that we will have a guaranteed investment and sector. My dear colleagues, I want to plead that my colleagues support this amendment so that it will pass through to enable the committee finalize the details on this report. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Thank you, my dear colleagues. Thank you.
Okay.
Member representing the good people of Bassa Jos North Federal Constituency. Your Excellency, my respected colleagues, I'm from Plateau State. I stand to move a motion on a bill establishing the Federal College of Education Technical, Kwal, Plateau State, to provide full-time courses, teaching instructions, and training technology, applied sciences, arts, social sciences, humanities, and management, and to related matters, in brackets HB 1901, for the second reading. Right Honorable Speaker, my dear colleagues, I so move. Thank you.
And the good people of a member now, Hitewu Boma, Obowu Federal Constituency, I'm from Imo State. The need to address the outrageous rise in price of automotive gas, oil, diesel. The House notes that the Nigerian Mainstream and Downstream Petroleum Regulatory Authority was created in August 2021 in line with the Petroleum Industry Act with the mandate to provide effective regulatory oversight, ensure sufficient product distribution and supply at an equitable and fair price. Also notes that almost all businesses and households in Nigeria depend on diesel power generators as an alternative source of electricity. Further notes the outrageous rise in the price of automotive gas oil as a product which was sold between 280 naira to 350 naira per liter just 3 weeks ago is currently being sold above 780 per liter and still rising on a daily basis, accounting for over 115.4% increase within just 3 weeks. Concerned that diesel was deregulated in 2009 with an initial price of 100 naira per liter, and between 2009 to date, Nigerians have witnessed a rising percentage increase in the price of the product. Also concerned that the hike in the cost of diesel is alleged to be the handiwork of unscrupulous stakeholders in the industry and is tantamount to economic sabotage, causing untold hardships on Nigerians as it will result in an increase in prices of food as well as other goods and services. Worried that the possible inflationary pressure envisaged from the rise in the cost of diesel could reduce consumers' disposable income, thus making it impossible for average Nigerians to meet their basic needs. Cognizant that if the ugly trend of the increasing price of diesel is not checked, the multiplier effect will spell doom for Nigeria's economy. The House is hereby invited to resolve to 1, mandate the committees on petroleum resources downstream, petroleum resources upstream, and gas resources to investigate the unexplained astronomical increase in the price of diesel with a view to ensuring that a reasonable price is fixed to alleviate the sufferings of Nigerians and report back within 6 weeks for further legislative action. Mr. Speaker, colleagues, I so move.
Yeah, Osby.
To stretch the concluding part of the prayer in order for it to accommodate, because though the title here is only for diesel, but I want to stress that we accommodate other refined hydrocarbons. Because apart from diesel, the gas in the country too is beyond the reach of the common man. And instead of bringing a fresh motion to accommodate this, if the House permits me to overstretch the prayer to accommodate gas, such that it will now read, reasonable price is fixed to alleviate the sufferings of Nigerians on diesel and gas. I so move, Mr. Speaker. Sir.
Abbas. I so second. Regulated oils as well will be checked. There will be no need for it.
The amendment will mean what?
It will mean that some of those products that have been deregulated will be asked to be regulated again. So I think you should leave it as.
And so you are opposing the amendment. There's no point of order there. Just you are opposing the amendment. So.
That is too much. The House is not mandating anybody to fix, the House is not fixing price. But in the face value of it, and considering the sufferings in the land, that they should look at it in the face and see how they can assist, accommodate, irrespective of the circumstance. It's an appeal. We are not making it compulsory, Mr. Speaker. This is a genuine one.
What was your opposition?
Mr. Speaker, my argument, this motion will mean that you have to regulate it again. The market forces already are playing with it. And we are sure that when the situation improves in the country, price will drop. This prayer should be referring specifically to diesel, which is still regulated, which the government can still control. That's my move.
All that we've been talking about is the diesel and the LPG. That's the liquefied natural gas. That's the cooking gas.
Your amendment is based on LP.
It's on the cooking gas, sir.
Not PMS, because we cannot be doing policy somersault, is what he's saying.
No, sir. It's basically on the
Cooking gas. Okay. Those in favor of the amendment, please say aye.
Aye.
Those against, please say nay. Ayes have it. Those in favor of the motion as amended, please say aye. Those against, please say nay. Ayes have it.
Need to curtail incessant kidnappings and banditry in Dus and Makurdi Federal Constituency of Katsina State. The House knows that in spite of the government efforts and resilience of the Nigerian Police Force, the Army and other security personnel under the command of AAC Aminu Umar, the security situation in Dus and Makurdi Federal Constituency of Katsina State has continued to deteriorate. Also notes that on 19th March 2022, there was an attack at Ashata, Sabaru, Ruwangamji, Unguwar Dangaje, and Kwari Mezurfi in Dutsenma local government area, which led to abductions, destructions of lives and properties. Disturbed that between mid-February and March 2022, Unguwar Bera, Sabon Garin Safana, Dogorwa, Shanga, Sokotarima, Sanawa, Gammo, Garangamawa in Dutsenma local government area, and Wurma, Kawari, Kadagi, Tamu, Barkia, Erranda, Tamawa, Tashavarau, Rawayau, Ermarki, Erbudu, Daram, and Kofa in Kurpe local government area were under serious security threats. Worried about the unprecedented increase in violent attacks, which is defying the sustained narrative among the people of Dus and Makurdi Federal Constituency, which is one of the peaceful areas to live in, compared to other parts of the states. But tragically, the domain is gradually turning into a den of kidnappers and bandits' playground, those leading to loss of lives and destruction of properties worth millions of naira. Concerned that many residents are having sleepless nights, guarding their villages and making ceaseless prayers for protection while many are displaced and relocated. Resolves to urge the National Security Advisor, the Chief of Defense Staff, the Inspector General of Police, the Commandant General of the Nigerian Security and Civil Defense Corps to deploy more security personnel to beef up security in the area. also urge the Chief of Army Staff to establish an operational unit for rapid response in the area. Further urge the Federal Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs, Disaster Management and Social Development, and National Emergency Management Agency to urgently provide relief materials to the affected people of Dus Amma and Kofi. Mandate the committees on national security and intelligence, defense, police affairs, army, interior, and emergency and disaster preparedness to ensure compliance. I so move, Mr. Speaker.
Dear colleagues, my amendment is on the one. Since this has become an everyday affairs in most constituencies, I would want the heading to read instead of need to curtail incessant kidnappings and banditry in Dosima Coffee Federal Constituency of Katsina State, to read need to curtail incessant kidnappings and banditry in Dosima Coffee and other affected constituencies in Nigeria. That is one. Two, also substitute in the prayers where it is read in the area to read in all other constituencies, in all other affected constituencies of Nigeria. I so move, Mr. Speaker.
You want to second the amendment? Olubumi.
This motion is strictly on Dus Amma Kurfi Federal Constituency. This motion is not talking about the wider part of the country.
Relevance of amendment.
So the amendment is not relevant to the motion because the motion is talking about one federal constituency in the country, not the 360 federal constituencies. If we make this amendment, we are literally diluting this motion and it is not relevant to the motion. So I think it is better we allow this prayer to go along with the title of the motion, which is reflecting only one federal constituency.
I think Honorable Sada is absolutely correct that under our rules, an amendment has to be read. Do say that federal constituency or is the subject matter banditry? That will determine the relevance. If the subject matter is banditry, then the amendment is in order. If the subject matter is on the particular constituency, then the amendment is not in order. So the question is, you want to, yes, go ahead.
And banditry in Dus Amma and Kulfi Federal Constituency. So the subject matter here is the constituency. It could be anything, but where? The location. The geographical location is what is the key issue.
But I'm inclined to agree with Honorable Sada because what is happening in his area. Unfortunately, I didn't listen to the body of the motion because those things may be particular to that constituency, whatever he read out. So, Honorable Agusoye, go and bring your own motion.
My name is Jude Obwechengaji. I come from Cross River State, and I represent the good people of Ogoja Federal Constituency. The need to investigate the causes of death and permanent disability resulting from negligence of medical practitioners in Nigeria. The House moved that the increase of reports of medical negligence in Nigeria is principally attributed to lack of sufficient medical practitioners and infrastructure in health sector. Also note that despite the increasing number of victims, there has been a low level of formal complaints and lawsuits for compensation due to ignorance, poverty, and in some cases, reluctance to seek redress against the offending medical practitioner. Observed other countries where quality medical practice
and care for patients is higher. There's also a sense of accountability required from the medical practitioners. As such, it will be useful to consider the legal position of the Nigerian concerning actions for negligence against medical practitioners in the discharge of their duties. Sorry, Mr. Speaker. Okay. Further note that the Medical and Dental Practitioners Act 2004 is the principal law regulating the medical profession in Nigeria and provides for the registration of medical and dental practitioners. It also codified the rules of professional conduct of medical and dental practitioners in the Code of Medical Ethics in Nigeria, 2008. The code specifies the acceptability standard of medical and dental practice in Nigeria. Aware that the Act also establishes the Medical and Dental Practitioners Investigating Panel and Medical and Dental Practitioners Disciplinary Tribunal, where the panel is charged with carrying a preliminary investigation of any allegation of such infamous conduct professionally made against a medical practitioner, and where such allegations have merit, the PAN forward the case to the tribunal for trial. Also aware that medical negligence is the failure of a medical practitioner to exercise reasonable care in the course of discharging professional duty. Thus, registered practitioner who fails to exercise the skill or act with a degree of care expected of this experience and status in the course of attending, a patient may be liable to professional negligence under the Code of Medical Bills in Nigeria, which includes failure to attend promptly to a patient requiring urgent attention when the practitioner was in a position to do so. B, a manifestation of incompetence in the assessment of a patient. C, making an incorrect diagnosis, particularly when the clinical features were so glaring that no reasonable, skillful practitioner could have failed.
Honorable Jude, I think it's a very, very good motion. Do you have your prayers there? Because it's getting hot. Members do you have your prayers? Let's go straight to the prayers. It's a very good motion. Let's go straight to the prayers. Wow, is that all the motion? It's about 6 pages.
Mr. Speaker, I wanted to apologize to members.
Okay, I think you were debating it.
I hear that I am the only one that has moved a motion this lengthy. So, apologies, Mr. Speaker.
No, that's fine. It's a good motion. It's a good motion. Just go straight to the prayers.
Okay. I'll just go to, I resolve to urge the Federal Civil Service Commission. No.
I think the prayer is just to investigate negligence of medical practitioners in Nigeria.
Yes.
Just basically to investigate negligence of medical practitioners.
Yes.
Okay, that's fair enough. Any seconder to that?
No, Mr. Speaker, sir.
Yeah.
It is already before every member. But if you could allow me 1 second to just add a little flesh to it.
Yeah, somebody has to second. You've moved the motion now. Honorable Alabi, please second.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues. My name is Honorable Akin Alabi. I represent the good people of Egbeda on our federal constituency. I rise to second the motion ably moved by Honorable Jude Ngaji. I so second, Mr. Speaker. Thank you.
Okay, well, ordinarily I would have put the question. Honorable Jude's, maybe it's even his first motion. He just joined us in the House, and it's a very good motion, very impressive. Thank you. Just give us a minute.
Mr. Speaker, take it a bit personal. Whenever I will wear white, I speak the truth. So there's so many people in this chamber today with white, and that's a reflection of the purity in our heart, including Mr. Speaker, who inspired me so much to come to this house. And I give that credit to you, just like you're inspiring Nigerians as well, even when you were not Mr. Speaker. But today, I'm happy. Mr. Speaker, basically, what we have in our hospitals today are just casket carriers. They are not ambulances. On your convoy, no ambulance. On the convoy of the Senate President, no ambulance. Because the ambulance that we know beyond this country is equipped that can give at least first aid treatment to patients before taking to the hospital. But here, nothing. So a lot of problem has gone through. Just one more word, Mr. Speaker. I know a case of a woman. I know a case of a man whose wife was 8 months pregnant. Yes, whose wife was 8 months pregnant. An army was shot, and they took the same army to the hospital. What the doctor did simply exchanged a prescription that was meant for the woman and gave that one to the army man that was shot. And my friend bought that drug the wife took and died 2 days after. It was after that time that the people sat back and discovered that he gave a wrong prescription to my friend. And then in our federal hospitals, a lot also has been going on, Mr. Speaker. There are very good doctors, there are also the bad ones, just the way we are in the National Assembly. Most doctors in government hospitals, federal government hospitals, all very good, but they just divert some patients to their private hospitals. And so by the time you get to this government hospital where you can easily afford the bill, they will give you a reason to go to a particular hospital for you to be treated. And if you follow it up and connect, you discover that one of the doctors who is in that government hospital that has taken the patient to his hospital. So, Mr. Speaker, I'm happy that you've commended this motion, and I pray that more shorter motions will continue to come, not as lengthy as this. Thank you so much, Mr. Speaker.
Those in support, please say aye. Those against, say nay. Ayes have it. 13th order of the day is a motion on the need to ensure payment of recently recruited teachers in federal government colleges in Delta State, standing in the name of Honorable Ben Ibakwa. Honorable Ibakwa is invited to move the motion.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. My dear colleagues, I am Honorable Ben Roland Ibakwa. I represent Ethiop East, Ethiop West. By the special grace of God, we're from Delta State. Mr. Speaker, the motion is on the need to ensure payment of recently recruited teachers in federal government colleges in Delta State. The House notes that in 2018, the Federal Civil Service Commission conducted recruitment of teachers into federal government colleges nationwide. Also know that about 60 of the teachers were eventually employed, and their appointment letters clearly stated their salaries per annum, duties, and provision for leave, among others. Concerned that since the resumption of duty in 2018, the said teachers have not been paid any amount stipulated in the appointment letters. Also concerned, Mr. Speaker, that some of the teachers have even been redeployed, having served for a while in their new posts, and still have not been paid any salaries or entitlements for the past 3.5 years. Worried that despite several efforts and written letters to the appropriate authorities to appeal their predicament, the teachers have been consistently ignored to date. Also worried that the situation has left most of the teachers in serious anguish and frustration as they are unable to meet up with their basic financial obligation as a result of the negligence of their employers. The House therefore resolved to, 1, urge the Federal Civil Service Commission to, as a matter of urgency, ensure that the teachers who were recruited into the federal government colleges in Delta State in 2018 are paid their full salaries and all entitlement to them. 2, mandate the Committee on Basic Education and Services to investigate the delay in the payment of the teachers with a view to providing solutions to avoid a similar occurrence in the future and report back within 6 weeks for further legislative action. I beg to move, Mr. Speaker.
Chinda. Engineer Sani Bala, Honorable Lanre Waju, Honorable Dave Fisoye, Honorable Ningi Sada Soli, Honorable Kokani, Professor Julius, Shehu Balarabe, Honorable Sani Israel Goli, BDK, Honorable Shetima Lawa, Ali Dati Yako, Honorable Jude Egbeche, Honorable Dr. Hamisu Ikara, and Honorable Tijani Zana. Where is Honorable Gagdi? Okay, I saw Honorable Gagdi's name on this list, but I removed it because he has a lot of work he's saddled with right now. I removed his name because he has a lot of work right now that he's doing. And I think also Honorable Maki Yeleman has a lot of responsibilities right now. So that's the list. Please, I can't remember what the resolution was, how many weeks we gave. This was a resolution 4 weeks ago. Please, we need the results in 4 weeks. We need rather the report in 4 weeks, as we're going to be winding down. And as let us know. Be very, very strict.
Very basic and very omnipotent nexus between insecurity and unemployment and underemployment, which this bill, when passed into an act, a functional act, will cure. About 300,000 young adults of Nigerian descent passed out of Nigerian universities, polytechnics, and polytechnics every year. And we mobilize them into the NYSC scheme. And when these young Nigerian adults, when they are about to pass out, disillusionment turns in. Some of them might not be able to...
No. I mean, yours is just to move for the consideration. Just 2 lines.
Okay.
Just move for the consideration of the report.
Right, Honorable Speaker, sir, and my very honorable colleagues. I rise up to move that the House do consider the report of Committee on Youth Development on a bill for an act to establish National Youth Service Corps Trust Fund for the purpose of providing a sustainable source of funds for the National Youth Service Corps, skill acquisition, training and empowerment of corps members, development of camps, and the formations of NYSC and the facilities therein, which the report was laid on the floor of the House on the 24th of March 2022. I so move.
Honorable Aminu Suleiman from the get-together area of Kano will move for the consideration.
Excellency, honorable colleagues, I'm from Kano State, Kano Metropolitan, and I represent Pegi Federal Constituency. Honorable Speaker, honorable colleagues, I move that the House do consider the report of the Committee on Tertiary Education and Services on a bill for an act to provide for the establishment of Federal University of Education, Isiokolo, Delta State, and for related matters, HB 1653, and approve the recommendation therein. With the leave of the House, I also move that the House do consider the report of the Committee on Tertiary Education and Services on a bill for an act to provide for the establishment of Federal Polytechnic, Garuku, Kano State, to provide full-time courses in technology, social sciences, applied sciences, management, and other fields of study, and to make provision for general administration of the Polytechnic and for related matters, HB 820, and approve the recommendation therein. I do move for consideration.
Honorable Sala.
2-0. I so second.
Those in support, please say aye. House Leader, please move that the House. Are you in this? Okay, whip.
Honorable Speaker.
Where are they? Sergio, because I'm always reading your vitriolic, acidic remarks on our platform. So this is the only time I have the opportunity to use the bullet pulpit to, yes, you.
For an act to provide for the Eastern Federal University of Education, Isiokolo, Delta State, and Florida matters. I now invite Honorable Aminu to give the synopsis of the report.
Honorable Chair, honorable colleagues, I'm from Kano State, and my name is Comrade Amin Suleiman. I represent Page Federal Constituency. Honorable Speaker, Sir, Chairman, the bill before us for consideration is for the establishment of a Federal University of Education, distinct from the usual normal university system. This to basically provide for increase in the manpower of academics, basically and solely for purposes of education in one part, and of course to increase the manpower and capacity of our teaching personnel, and of course for related matters. The bill, Honorable Chairman and colleagues, as our laws demand and tradition, was subjected to public discourse, and stakeholders, as usual in the sectors, were invited to discuss and digest the content. The proceeding resulted in the recommendations that we forwarded to the House for due consideration. With this very little synopsis, the report is before the Honorable Chair and honorable members. I do request very respectfully that members do the needful by approving the recommendations, or if there are corrections there, the committee is disposed to take in the corrections. I so move, Honorable Chairman.
3, 4, 5, plus 6, plus 7, plus 8, plus 9, plus 10, plus 11, plus 12.
Mr. Chairman, I'm just seeking for an explanation whether even for the removal by the minister should be to the Federal Executive Council. Is it the Federal Executive Council that appoints the council members or the president? I just needed to know about that because clause 12 is talking about...
It's not the Federal Executive Council that does that.
Yeah, but here it's saying the removal should be referred to the Federal Executive Council by the minister. No. So that we should be guided.
Clause 12.
Removal of certain members of the council. Line 3.
He said, if it appears to be the council that the member, if it appears to the council that a member
either removed from the office on grounds of misconduct or inability to perform the function of his office, the Council shall make recommendations to that effect through the Minister to the Federal Executive. No.
I think something. I think something I do concur here that something went wrong, either printer's debut or something. It should be to the minister and, if possible, for consideration of the president, not to Federal Executive Council.
To the minister, I guess he approves all appointment of principal officers. Then it should be through the minister to the president. So you do the cleaning. 12 as amended. Who is moving the motion for the correction? Sada. Yes, sir. So that we do the appropriate.
We delete Federal Executive Council in line 3 of clause 12.1 and insert to the president. I so move.
Thank you. Aye. Against the nay. That's it. 12 as amended. 13. 14. 15. 15, 16, 17, schedules. Yep. Yes, sir. Shaba.
Yes. I'm from Kogi State. I just wish to observe, sir, that under the schedule, that is the last page thereof, subparagraph 3, which reads, any document purporting to be duly execrated under the seal of the Polytechnic. I do.
Schedule 3? Where are you talking? Schedule?
The schedule, sir. That's the last but one paragraph. Just before this very, very elaborate signatures of the chairman. That is subparagraph 3, beginning with any document purporting to be duly execrated. I don't know what that will mean, but I think it's intended to mean executed.
Yes, sir.
It requires some clarification.
Goro.
Thank you, sir.
You say? Chairman? Huh? No, he responded. Explanatory memoranda, long title. Respected colleagues, the last report to be considered I think we're finished. To make provisions for the general administration of the Polytechnic and for related matters. And I invite Honorable Goro to give the synopsis of the bill.
The next report is on a bill for an act to establish Federal Polytechnic Garku, Kano State, and is intended to provide full-time courses in technology, social sciences, applied sciences, management, and other fields of studies. Honorable Chairman, honorable colleagues, this too is an attempt to widen educational opportunities for Nigerians, particularly Nigerians that seems to be distant from places where institutions of learning are domiciled. Garku, Kano State is one of the areas that is a little bit disadvantaged, and as a consequence, subjects from that areas have to travel very far and very near for them to be able to access education. In addition to providing for all Nigerians, it will enable people.
I think Honorable Sada has some small intervention for you.
He's at liberty here. He has been doing that for a very long time, whether there is cause for him to talk or not. That is why he relocated very close here. I think it's for this. Let him exercise his right to criticize. Thank you. So, honorable colleagues, like previous attempts, these two, the report was subjected to deliberations, including members who are not even members of the committee participated in arriving at this recommendation, and the report is before honorable members for scrutiny, approval, corrections, or query whatsoever. It is within the purview of the committee to, at the end of the day, approve the recommendations as provided or with some adjustment, and we stand to take any corrections, Your Excellency.
Yes, thank you. Clause 3. Clause 4. Clause 5. But isn't it better to do the friendship here? Sada,
I expect it reads, the Minister of Education shall be the visitor to the Polytechnic. I think
no, it's the president.
It's the President, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you. Motion moved by Sada for amendment, seconded by who?
By myself.
Clause 5, 4 as amended. Clause 5, clause 6. Clause 7, clause 8, clause 9, clause 10, clause 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, schedules, explanatory memoranda. Committee on Youth Development on a bill for an act to establish National Youth Service Corps Trust Fund for the purpose of providing a sustainable source of funds for the National Youth Service Corps, skill acquisition, training, and empowerment of corps members, training and retraining of the personnel of the National Youth Service Corps, development of the camps, and the NYSC formations and facilities therein, and for related matters. Approved clauses 1 to 3, clauses 4 as amended, clauses 5 to 33, the schedule, the long title, and the explanatory memoranda of the report. Respected colleagues, the House and the Committee of the Whole consider the report of the Committee on Tertiary Education and Services on the bill for an act to provide for the establishment of Federal University of Education in Siokolo, Delta State, and for related matters. Approved clauses 1 to 11, clauses 12 as amended, clauses 13 to 17, the schedule, the long title, and the explanatory memoranda of the report. Finally, the House and the Committee of the Whole consider the report of the Committee on Tertiary Education and Services on a bill for an act to provide for the establishment of Federal Polytechnic, Garko, Kano State, and to provide full-time courses in technology, social sciences, applied sciences, management, and other fields of study, and to make provisions for general administration of the Polytechnic and for related matters, and approve clauses 1 to 3, clauses 4 as amended, clauses 5 to 20 as the schedule, the long title, and the explanatory memoranda of the report. We move for the adoption of the report.
The House do adopt the reports of the Committee of the Whole.
Thanks for checking out SYMFONI on YouTube. Please be sure to subscribe and like our videos for updates.